forget about every AI video tools you have ever used. Because Google just dropped something that honestly left me stunned. They rolled out two brand new things. One is Google Agent and another is their brand new AI model that is Google Omni. And once you start using these, believe me, you can create some seriously impressive stuffs for yourself or maybe for your clients, for whatever you want. Now take a look at this. This is a message from one of my clients with all the project details, and I turned this into this.
You ever get bored of the same coffee?
Then try something better.
So in this video, we are going to recreate the exact same cinematic ads from completely scratch, and I will break down each and everything, like how I generate scripts for this ad, how I generate each and every scenes, and finally how I polish all the scenes and give it a final cinematic look and deliver it to my client. So make sure do not skip any part of this video because you will definitely enjoy this one.
Alright, let me first show you my client's message straight from my Fiverr dashboard. So as you can see, the client gave me a pretty short brief. It's for a cold brew coffee product. She asked me to create a reel that she can use to promote her brand new coffee brand. She handed me a product mockup image, and that's basically it. With just this little brief, we're going to generate the entire ad. So right now we have two things in hand. One, the project details, which I got from the client's message. I've just copied her message here. And two, the product mockup image she sent me. Now we're going to take both of these things over to ChatGPT. We'll give ChatGPT two inputs, the product image and the project details, and we'll ask it to write us a script. Now to generate this script, I also used a prompt, and honestly I created this prompt using Claude. I'll drop the prompt down in the description so you can grab it for yourself. It's a really simple prompt. I've just described everything I need. Let me walk you through it. I mentioned the project details and exactly what my client's requirement is. Basically, everything she gave me. Then I gave it some clear instructions. I told it that I'm only going to use Google Flow and Gemini Omni for this. And for the scene count, I mentioned that the whole video should be a maximum of 4 to 5 scenes. So it should break the script down into 4 or 5 scenes, and each scene should be roughly 5 to 6 seconds long, because most AI models don't handle long scenes well. If you try to generate a long scene, it'll usually fail. So we need to keep them short, broken into small scenes. I also told it not to use any words like bedroom, bathroom, or shower. I actually add this instruction to all my AI videos because these kinds of words usually violate the platform's terms and conditions, and your video generation can get blocked. So it's better to just avoid them completely. I also asked it to keep the characters consistent. Now, we don't really need that instruction because we are going to create our characters separately, but I added it anyway. And finally, I gave it the dialogue philosophy, what kind of dialogue I want and how the delivery should feel. This whole prompt was written by Claude, and like I said, I'll drop it in the description so you can use it too. So let's attach the product image we got from the client and send it over. And there you go, it generates all the scenes for us. Here's the scene breakdown. For each scene, it first gives you a visual description, what the environment looks like, what's happening in the shot, and then the dialogue. For the first scene, there's no dialogue. Then the second scene has a visual and a dialogue line, and so on. So it basically lays out all the scenes and the full script for us. And right at the end, just like I asked for in the prompt, it even gives me a few tagline options for the end frame. Now this is the stage where you can change anything you want, because the next step after this is moving into Google Flow. So if you want to tweak any of the scenes, do it right now. For example, in this script, the dialogue was very minimal. I felt it would be better with a little more dialogue. So I just told ChatGPT, this is good, but the dialogue feels a bit too light. Can you make it a little longer? I'm okay with that. And I asked it to keep the flow going. So it gave me a modified script. Now this one comes out to around 30 to 35 seconds long, but that's totally fine. We can manage the length later in our editing software by slightly speeding up the audio. So here's the modified script. You can see it. This is the one where the guy says, "You ever get bored of the same coffee?" and then the girl responds, and the whole story plays out from there. It's got a bit more dialogue now, and honestly, it looks good to me. Once the script is final, I'll copy it and save it somewhere safe. I always like to keep everything organized, so I made a separate folder where I'm saving all of it. The product mockup image, the script, the project details, everything. That way, it's all right there whenever I need it. So I'd really recommend you do the same. Keep everything organized. Alright, so our script is ready. Now let's move on to the next step, generating our characters based on this script. Okay, so the next step is to create our two characters, exactly as described in our script. One is a girl and the other is a guy. Both are in their mid-20s, just like my client described in the project details. So we are going to generate two full-body front view character images, and we'll use those images as a reference to create all our scenes. That way, the characters stay consistent throughout. For this, I again generated a prompt using Claude, though honestly any AI tool works fine here. I'll drop this prompt in the description too, but you don't have to use my exact prompt. You can use any AI tool like ChatGPT or Claude and generate a prompt like this yourself. They're really simple prompts. They just spell out all the details of the character, how they look and what pose they're in. We're not going too deep here. So let's start with the male character. We'll head over to the left-hand side where you see three options: all media, characters, and scenes. We'll go into characters and paste our prompt right here. We'll select the Nano Banana 2 model, which works great. Then we just hit generate and let's see what it gives us. Okay, nice. That looks good. He's looking solid. So this can be our male character. Now we'll name this character. Let's call it Brew Guy Reference. Perfect. Now let's generate a second character, the girl. Again, we'll copy the prompt. Let me go back to the characters tab, click new character, paste the prompt and hit send. Let's see what it comes up with. Alright, that looks great. We'll save this one with its name too. And that's it, our character generation is done. As you can see, we now have two characters, both named and ready to go. Now there's one more thing we can do here, and this is a brand new feature in Google Flow that makes it so much more powerful. You can assign a specific voice to each of your characters. Here's why this matters. Right now, if you just generate your characters and start making different scenes, the voice can change from scene to scene. Maybe in scene 1, you hear one voice, and in the next scene, it's a completely different voice. But now, when you create a character, you can lock in a specific voice for them. So let's say you want to set a voice for this female character. All you have to do is open the character panel and you'll see this option, select a voice. Click on it and you'll find tons of voices already available in your Google Flow library. You can preview each of them.
Hi there. We're introducing a new feature where I can read this aloud in a natural, human-like voice.
And you can even create your very own voice. If you click on that, you can give your voice a name, set the performance, and describe exactly how you want it to sound. It's a really powerful feature. Now, I'm not sure if we can upload our own generated voice here yet. I don't think that feature exists right now, but that's fine. At the very least, we can lock a specific voice to each character.
Hi there. We're introducing a new feature.
I like this one, so I'll set this voice for the female character. Now let's set a voice for our male character.
Hi there. We're introducing a new feature where I can read this aloud. And
This one sounds good, so I'll set it for my male character and click done. And now our voices are fully ready, so we can start making some awesome scenes. Okay, so now that our characters are set up, we're going to start creating the scenes one by one using the most powerful feature Google Flow just launched, the agent feature. This is the main tool we'll be using throughout this video, and it's what lets us generate really realistic ads with consistent characters. Let me show you step by step. But before that, let's first upload our product image. Here it is, and just dropping it in. And now we'll give it a name. By default, it's just called product image, but we'll give it a specific name. So I'll save it as done. So now we have two characters and one product image. All our basic pieces are ready. Now we move on to scene generation. And like I said, for this, we are going to use agent mode. So first, we need to turn it on. Just click on this agent button. Once you do, you'll see a few options, agent instructions and some settings. Let's go through them one by one. First up, agent instructions. This is where you add your custom instructions for how the agent should work. Now, what exactly is an agent? Think of it as your creative partner. It understands your project, it stays focused on it, it helps you keep your characters consistent, and it figures out exactly what you're trying to deliver to your audience. Then it helps you generate that ad. So here you can add your instructions. Just click the add instruction button and type in your own guidelines for the agent. And again, I generated these instructions using Claude. There's nothing complicated about it. I just went to Claude, shared my project details with it, and asked it to write me a set of agent instructions for Google Flow. It gave me this, and I'll drop it in the description. But honestly, it's not a complicated thing. You can use any AI tool like ChatGPT to generate this kind of agent instruction. Once you have your instructions ready, you just copy them and paste them in here. And click save. You can add multiple instructions too. And if you don't add any instructions at all, that's also fine. But I'd strongly recommend adding some because it makes your agent work so much more powerfully. Okay, so once you've got your instructions in, just click done. Now let's head over to the settings. In settings, you'll find a few options. First, there's a setting where the agent asks you for confirmation before generating any media. I'll set this to always. Next, there's image generation. This is where you set your image resolution. So I'll keep it at 9:16. Now we're only generating videos here, so that part's fine. You can also set your image variations, how many images you want. Then we come to the video generation part. Here too, I'll set it to 9:16 because this is going to be a vertical video. And I only need one variation, which is fine. And from here, we can select our chat model, and obviously we'll go with Omni Flash, the latest one. Alright, that's our entire setup done. Now we'll click save, everything's ready, and now we can start creating our scenes one by one. Let's see how it performs. Okay, so now we are going to generate each scene one by one, and I'll ask ChatGPT to give me the prompts. I'll take those prompts and feed them into Google Flow to generate the scenes. So basically ChatGPT gives me the prompt, and I use that prompt to generate everything inside Google Flow using the agent feature. So here I'm asking ChatGPT to give me the prompt for scene 1. And there it is. This is our scene 1 prompt. I'll copy it, head over to Google Flow and paste it in here. Now here's the important part. We need to swap in our character names and our product image name. You can see in the prompt, it says, a fashionable man and woman in their mid-20s seated across from each other at a small wooden cafe. So instead of man and woman, we're going to delete those words and add our reference characters instead. Here's how you do it. You delete the word, and then if you type the @ sign on your keyboard, a little window pops up. From there, you can select your character. So I'll pick the male character here. Then I'll delete the word woman and add the female character. Basically, you have to scan through the whole prompt. Anywhere it says man, woman, he or her, and replace it with your generated character names. This is exactly why we saved our characters with specific names earlier. So I'm going through and changing every spot where it mentions a character. And I'm also adding the bottle image the same way. Wherever it mentions the bottle, I just delete that word and drop in our reference product image. Once that's done, I'll hit send and the agent window opens up. Now watch, the agent starts working on the project. Okay, so this is for scene 1 and it actually gives me 2 separate plan options. Basically, it's offering me 2 different camera angle approaches. And this is exactly why Google's tool is different from everything else. Look at how powerful this is. You don't have to worry about camera angles at all. Your agent handles everything. It thinks about it. It uses its own brain. You're basically the producer and the agent is your creative director. Your job is to produce. The directing is handled by the agent. So here I've got 2 options, option A and option B. I'm going to go with option B because this one starts by focusing right on the coffee cup. And since this ad is all about our product, I want that focus on the product. So I think option B is the best fit here. Now it'll take a moment, then it asks for my approval. It tells me it'll cost 10 credits, which by the way is way lower than other AI tools like Xfield or Seedance. So I'll click approve and let's see what it generates. Now it takes a little while to generate and I don't know why, but it failed. But don't worry, we are in agent mode, so we are not stranded here. We've got support. We can directly ask our agent why it failed. See, before this, if you generated a clip manually and it failed, you had no options. You had no idea what went wrong. But now we can just ask the agent. So I simply ask it why my clip got rejected, why it failed. And look, it tells me it failed because there was a problem with the product image name. So it'll just regenerate it. Let's give it another try. I'll approve it. And boom, there it is. Our first scene is generated. Let's take a look.
You ever get bored of the same coffee?
Honestly, it looks pretty great. Look at the camera angle, the cuts, the way the scene flows. Everything is just perfect. Exactly how I pictured it in my head. I really love this result. Now just think, if you try to make this manually, you'd have to generate each camera angle separately, then stitch them all together in your editing software. That would be a real headache. But here, we just generate each scene with a single prompt to our agent, and it handles everything. Alright, now let's move on to the next scene. I head back to ChatGPT, ask for the next scene, and it gives me the prompt. I'll copy it and do the same thing again. Scan the prompt, add all our reference character names and the product image name. Then let's see what it generates. I'll approve it. And our second scene is done. You can see the character has changed. There's some kind of mistake here, or maybe it's a bug. The female character got changed. This is a new feature from Google, so it might still have a few bugs. Okay, so we'll just regenerate this, and you don't have to worry about it. If it throws a bug or a mistake at you, you can simply regenerate the clip. Just tell your agent to regenerate, explain what you need, and it'll fix it. So here I'm just telling my agent that the generated clip isn't okay. The guy has changed, the girl has changed, and their clothes are different too. So we need to generate this clip again. And you can see the agent checks it, realizes there's a problem, and regenerates the clip. I'll approve it. In the previous clip, both characters were completely changed. That's a real mistake, and I think it might be a bug. Now let's see how the new clip turns out. Okay, now that looks perfect. So basically you have to check all your clips like I said. Sometimes it'll give you an error or a mistake and you just have to regenerate those. And that's how we'll generate all our scenes. We've got a total of 7 scenes, so let me get through them all. I'm gonna speed this part up a little so it doesn't get boring. I'm just generating all the clips. And again, for scene 3, it gives me 2 concepts. This is the real beauty of the agent feature. You don't have to imagine all these things yourself. The agent imagines them for you. It plays the director's role and you just choose which option works best. Here I'll go with option B because again, I want more focus on the product than on the characters. And scene 3 is looking really good too. So we just keep generating all the scenes one by one. I'm skipping ahead here because this part is pretty repetitive. You just ask ChatGPT for the next scene, it gives you the prompt, you add your character names, send it to the agent, and it takes care of the rest. Alright, so finally it generates all our scenes. I ran into plenty of errors during this process. Some scenes just didn't give me what I wanted, so I kept regenerating them until I was happy. And finally, our scene generation is complete. Now we'll download each scene. I'm saving them into a separate folder. So you can see, all our scenes are generated. I've kept them in their own folder named 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, a total of 7 scenes. So they're easy to keep track of. Now in the next step, we'll bring them into my editing software and polish everything to give it that final look. So keep watching. Okay, so now we are in DaVinci Resolve. Here's my timeline. But before that, let me show you the raw footage. So here, in a separate timeline, you can see all the raw clips I generated from Google Flow. And if I play it,
You ever get bored of the same coffee?
Then try something better.
you'll notice there are no transitions at all. So these are the 7 clips I generated from Google Flow using Google's latest Omni model and the agent feature. Now to polish these clips, here's what I did. I added background music and I applied a simple, very subtle zoom effect. Let me show you the difference. If you play the raw clip, there's no zoom effect, no slow camera movement at all. But if you add these kinds of subtle effects, it makes a huge difference. I personally think that adding these small ingredients is what makes your videos stand out from everyone else's. Now if I play the polished version, you can see there's a very subtle zoom effect. I applied a gentle zoom to each of these clips. And here you can see a subtle zoom out. The camera is slowly pulling back from the character's face. These little ingredients, these small effects, always make your video look different from the rest. So make sure to use them. Consider that a little bonus tip while you're editing. And here I also added a very soft transition. See, without a transition, it would look like a hard cut, right? So I figured a soft, simple transition would look much nicer here. Now here comes the ending part. The scene blurs out here. I applied a blur effect. This is the end cut, our end frame, and I generated this whole end card using AI. That's another bonus tip, so let me show you. Basically, I asked ChatGPT, can you generate an end screen image for this video? I really liked the tagline. ChatGPT actually suggested a few taglines, and from those, I picked this one. Then I asked it to add some subtitles, like the company name and the product name. I also gave it a background color. I really liked this soft, creamy background, which I picked straight from the product image. So this is the same background, this soft, creamy tone, and it gave me this image. I absolutely love it. It's a really, really good one. This end card is there just to add that premium touch, and you should definitely add some kind of premium touch to your videos. Now, if you want to take it to the next level, here's one more thing you can do. I asked ChatGPT, can you give me another version without the bottle? So it gave me the image without the bottle. Then I asked it to give me just the bottle on its own, with a transparent background. And the reason I did this was so I could create this animation. I built this animation in After Effects. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into how I made it, because that's honestly a whole separate topic. Maybe we'll cover it in a future video. So just drop a comment if you'd like to learn how to create these kinds of motion posters or moving posters, and I'll definitely make a dedicated video on it. It's a very simple animation, a very simple motion graphics poster, but this kind of poster really gives a premium, professional feel to your main video. So you can add these kinds of premium effects too. I also added a color filter. If I disable it, you can see the subtle difference. Like I always say, I personally don't like to overdo things. These kinds of subtle effects are what make your video stand out. And I color graded it a little because the raw clips were looking a bit dull to me. So I graded them, and here's the result. So that's how you can polish this video and give it a premium touch. You know, a lot of people these days are scared that AI is going to take over all our jobs. But honestly, I don't believe that. If you have creativity, you can dominate. Make AI your most powerful weapon and apply your own creativity on top of it. Don't just rely on AI's raw output. Add your creativity to it. That's how you stand out, that's how you grab your client's attention, and that's how you stay ahead. Alright, now everything's done. Let's check out the final video.
You ever get bored of the same coffee?
Then try something better.
Okay. That's different.
Told you.
So this is our final video, and I hope it's looking good to you. I could add subtitles to it, but I'm not covering that in this video. I've already made a separate video on stylish subtitles. So go check that out if you want to add them to your own videos.
And that's where I'm going to wrap up this video. Honestly, I'll say it again that Google's new feature just nailed everything. These days, we can create this type of cinematic ads very easily. You do not need any camera, any direction, or any production cost. The cost is barely anything. To generate this entire project, I needed around 70 to 80 credits, which is incredibly low. So I would really encourage you to go and give it a try and create something awesome for yourself or maybe for your clients. Now, if you found this video really helpful, then do me a small favor. Just subscribe to my channel, just hit the subscribe button and join with Upcraftz family. because it genuinely keeps me going and motivates me to create more such stuffs for you. And also smash that like button and just share it with someone who needs to see it. And if you have any doubt or any question regarding this video or regarding any of my other video, just feel free to comment below, because I personally read and reply to every comments I got. So just don't feel shy, drop your comments, drop your thoughts, and I will definitely reach to you as soon as I can. Alright, so that's it for today. I will see you very soon in the next one. Till then, stay well, stay creative. Goodbye.